What's up, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Game, your one source for everything cool in video games. Now, you can always be a part of the show by going to insidethegame.ca or hitting us up on Discord, where there you can submit your clip and be the highlight of the week. Now, coming up on today's show, Corey and I jump into the world of Hyrule. It's back again, and it's a calamity. Nate's checking out Haven, and the guys and I are talking about our top 3 picks to play for the holiday season. But you know how we start things off. Here it is, it's the Inside Scoop. Are single-player games dead? Well, not according to a document that was dug up by Vice Games. In fact, the document that they found states that Sony is focused on single-player games, saying that more people are playing single-player content offline than they're actually playing online. That's why the UI for PlayStation 5 now introduces activity cards and game help. With a strong focus moving forward into single-player games, maybe EA will see the light too and bring us back 1313. We can all hope.
Alright, so this week I'm bringing to you the news of Ubisoft. And to bring things to more light, I'm going to talk more specifically about For Honor and the fact that they have a new hero announced, and he's coming December 10th, Griffin. He actually kind of reminds me of the Lawbringer, as he has a huge axe. It's not a halberd, it's actually more of like a big, great battle axe. And he seems quite menacing in the trailer, and to be frank, I haven't played For Honor in quite a while, so I'm definitely hopping in with my buddy when this update drops. And the next big thing I'm talking about is Rainbow Six. They just dropped Neon Dawn update, which involves a new operator, which kind of reminds me of Castle with these laser doors / windows gadget that she has. Looks pretty cool. And they actually reworked one of the maps on top of a ton of patches. Now, I can't cover them all because there are at least a couple pages of fixed issues, so that's all good to see. And well, we'll have to see if it actually brings some bad stuff, because usually with these big patches, which this update is huge, there's some bad things that kind of come.
In a recent interview with The Verge, Xbox head Phil Spencer has gone off and kind of said that he's applauding Sony on their DualSense controller and the kind of haptic vibration motors that they've installed and all the kind of cool technology that Sony and PS5 have put into their new DualSense controllers. And during this interview, he was kind of just going on about and just saying that it's not necessarily the specifics of the internals of the controller that he's impressed with. It's the fact that Sony's managed to kind of push this kind of, thing that we've just always taken for granted, a controller in your hand. Yes, they've made changes every year, slightly to help ergonomics and things like that, but they've never gone this far, not as far as Sony's gone with the DualSense controller. So, I mean, it's pretty cool to see, Xbox, the head of Xbox, Phil Spencer, going off and saying, you know what, Sony, you guys did a good job on this one. And really what he's excited about is where the platform holder is going to be able to go with this type of technology. I could definitely see an Xbox Elite 3.0 controller having haptic motors in it, just like the DualSense controllers now. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see as we go forward here how other manufacturers, whether it's Sony, PlayStation, Microsoft, go ahead and use these haptic vibration motors and all these kind of cool technology that they have stuffed into this DualSense controller. It's going to be really interesting to see where the future of this kind of leads. And you know what? We're just getting started with next gen.
Well, here we are at the end of 2020, just about, and the new consoles are upon us. Now, if you, like myself, have some issues finding stock, you might be comforted to know that you're not alone. Worldwide, the stock of new consoles has been swept up by bots and scalpers and the like that have taken a lot of what these companies are ready to produce and relegated them to be sold at a higher price. But there is some comforting news here, as some of the retailers, especially the online ones, have begun to push back against the scalpers. Notably, the company Very has canceled up to 1,000 new Xbox console orders just to combat a flood of bots. Now, in other news, Amazon has also begun to hold aside new PS5s in a bid to kind of rekindle the customer relationship with those who ordered a PS5 but received something like cat food or rice. Unfortunately, that is due to some sort of mismanaging and theft in the distribution process, but Amazon is doing the right thing by sticking by with these customers and ensuring that they at least have the opportunity to prerequisite a PlayStation 5.
Nintendo have just released a huge firmware update for the Nintendo Switch on November the 30th. The 11.0.0 patch is a huge update and it comes with some really cool stuff. They've added the Nintendo Switch Online icon to the home screen, so you can now check on the online services, any information, and your membership status. There's also a new feature that automatically downloads backed up saved data and it saves it to the saved data cloud. So when using software with the same Nintendo account linked to multiple systems, saved data backed up from one console will automatically be downloaded to the other systems. You can also connect your smart device wirelessly to your Switch, and you can transfer up to 10 screenshots and one video in one transfer. You can also connect your PC to your Switch by using a USB cable. They've also added 12 user icons that celebrate the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario Bros. Series, and I have to say they look absolutely cool. The firmware update will automatically download to your Switch as soon as you boot it up, or if not, you can always go into the settings and download it manually. To see the full update of the firmware, head to the Nintendo website to see the full listings and notes. It's hard to believe that Nintendo's been around for nearly over 3 years now, and to me it's still one of my personal handheld devices that I love to play, especially with the iconic games and characters.
Alright, so this week I'm flying with UNK in this great game of mystery, love, and adventure. Alright, so hopping into Haven. Wow, this game, it actually really shocked me because it is such a heavy story-based game that usually with these, I kind of get bored or I just get disconnected from the characters. It's just, sometimes they just drag out. But this game, honestly, for just having two characters, majority of the time, they really kind of kept you in it. Their relationship between you and Kay, it's really something that can resonate, I think, with a lot of people. At a lot of times, you're laughing with them, or you're just, just understanding that this is typical relationship bickering between one another, and it's quite comical. And then there's other times where it really kind of pulls your heartstrings and almost makes you cry, I could even say. But that'll to say, this game is really cool. It's a little slow at the start, and the whole pace of the game is honestly just very relaxing and slow. There is actually some combat that does take a little bit of time to actually get into, but it's there and it's unique. It's all in real time, where you're kind of set out to either attack with two different types of damage. You have impact and blast, both of which are two different types, so sometimes the enemies are in one position or facing the other, so you have to use one or the other moves, or some enemies just require the impact or the blast type. So there's a little bit of variety there. You also have the option to shield, so you kind of want to have this balance of having one character shielding, because when you do that it blocks for both of them, and then the other character either attacking or then pacifying the enemies that you take down, because you don't just kill the enemies, you actually pacifying, you're rescuing them throughout this whole game.
I'll keep them at bay.
You started it. You?
Yep. Stop.
Oh, Bloot! Let's get it over with. Shielding.
Perfect.
You're safe.
Nice. Bam!
Go, girl.
Because this game is basically you going and exploring and ridding these little islands or islets of rust, and all these creatures that are kind of randomly stuck in it are hostile because of this rust. And you and Kay, the two main characters, you use this material. It's kind of like, I don't want to say gasoline, but it's a type of fuel, and you just use it to boost around. You're actually kind of doing this hovering, kind of flying thing with your boots, and the fuel that you use is called flow. And the way you obtain it is throughout the map there are these little kind of strands or threads of flow where you have to follow them along their path to recharge your flow meter. So it's, like I said, this kind of this unique little twist on this game, and as you can see with my review, it's very just beautiful and all about the setting and the total atmosphere of this game. It kind of goes along with the story. Alright, so the story, it follows you and Kay, and you're on this planet, I guess you could say, called Source, and it's only you two, or so you think it's only you two, on this very isolated planet. And really, you, as you play the game, you kind of find out their backstory. Hopping right into it, you don't really know anything. You know that they clearly are together and that they escaped from their previous planet. So, you know, leaving it into your hands to play the game and just to really kind of learn more about this, I can just say that, you know, the creatures and the characters and just everything that they've created, I think is just very unique and just solid, like this game. Now, there were a couple things that I have to complain about, and they're just very minor. I had my subtitles on, of course, and there were a couple grammatical errors or spelling errors, but realistically I only noticed two, and that was about 2 to 3/4 of the way through the game. So that's pretty impressive in my opinion, considering 90% of the game is dialogue. So that was pretty good. And another thing is too, there was just a couple clipping things where a creature sat down and it was half in the ground, or, you know, I dove off the cliff and then I just clipped right through the mountain. But again, that was only a couple times, and I could say that me playing on the Xbox Series X, this game ran pretty well. It ran at high frames. The only thing that I could really say, and I'm not sure if it's something on my Xbox or something on the game itself, but it actually really chugged my RAM on my Series X. I don't know what it is, but whenever I have this game running, I can't do anything else. It lags my entire home screen, it lags everything, to the point where I have to only play that or quit the game when I'm not playing it, because quick resume with this game, it's not worth it. The whole system just chugs whenever this thing is running in the background or just running. So hopefully that's something that will get figured out soon, or maybe, like I said, it's on my end. The Series X and this game, it's also very new, so I can't tell you much more than what I'm dealing with. With that all to say, it's still a really great game, because while you're exploring, you're gathering all these resources and going back to home base and crafting and healing, and then while you're doing all this stuff, constantly interacting with you and Kay, with very relatable conversations and hilarious conversations, and then some very serious.
You?
Yeah?
I see you've brushed your hair in the shower again.
How can you tell?
It's not draining.
Sorry.
So if I was gonna score this one, it's really not that tough. I had a great time with this game. If you're into a slower paced game, but something that has a very strong, love-based and actually combat-based game, then this is definitely the game for you. I definitely suggest you check this one out. I have to give this one a 7.5. An intelligently crafted universe that complements a beautiful art style, all while knowing exactly what it wants to be. It does have a slow pace, but the game does well at showing the trials and tribulations of dating while uncovering an overshadowing mystery on the planet Source.
One to go.
Awesome! This one's ready.
Yep,
Your turn.
I'm on it. Well done. The end.
All right, so the holidays are upon us, and there are a ton of games to play. We're picking right now our top 3 games to play over the holiday season, and I'm kicking off things with a unique one. I'm talking about Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle over on Stadia. So that's definitely a unique game. I was able to check this out. Scott and I both did a review on it on the show, and it was just a cool twist on a battle royale game and platform that we've never actually had the ability to play before. You think of Pac-Man being a classic, and it just turns things a little differently when you start adding in 64 or 63 other players, and you're trying to be the last Pac-Man standing. You can win by getting the points taken care of or chomping on the last Pac-Man and taking the win. That is always a sweet way to play. So if you ever get the opportunity, that's my first pick. Nate, what do you have?
Well, man, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out one day on your Stadia or whenever I get Stadia going. But
For sure.
I'm gonna have to go with Siege, man. This has kind of been the staple of my first-person shooting for the last like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I could tell you guys that with the newest update and just everything that they've done within the last year, it's honestly just such a good game that you can hop back into at any time. There are new operators. They're at like 60 operators now, I believe, maybe even more. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're constantly reworking maps to add them to the ranked map pool, which is awesome because it's been fairly limited for a while. So all these things are great. And man, like I said, Drew, we play this game almost every night.
Almost.
I'm like rank 160, which isn't too crazy, but it's a lot of time, man. So
For sure.
anyways, I recommend you guys check this one out. This is my top pick. What about you, Corey?
All right, so I don't know. Are we doing top picks, or are we just gonna do like any
Oh,
order?
that was just my
That's
personal
your
top
top
pick.
pick. Okay, well, no, I'm gonna keep in the same thread. I'm gonna stick with shooters, one that we've all been playing quite a bit of, and that's definitely Call of Duty. Whether it be Modern Warfare, Warzone, or the new Cold War. I've been playing a ton of Cold War, but I'm definitely still loving Warzone. They're doing a ton of updates to both right now, so it's definitely gonna be one of those games coming into this holiday season that's really gonna be starting to hit its stride. So we're going to be getting a lot more updates. We're going to get that Warzone integration into Cold War, I think, which is going to be really awesome here at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to kind of what the holiday season is going to bring for this game, because it's a lot of fun right now, but I think it's really going to kind of get its legs underneath it, because it is a bit of a slow start here at launch. But I think through the holidays, this one's definitely going to be a popular one.
No, absolutely. I don't think you can go wrong with Call of Duty, right? Let's be honest. No, for sure.
Yeah.
My second pick, boys, is a throwback. It's been a long time since I played this one, and it just got remastered and brought into the, I would call, current to next gen consoles. And I'm talking about Mafia. The Mafia trilogy is out. Mafia 1 is back, and I am pumped, dude. I just got goosebumps. I'm so excited to play as Tommy again. It is so cool to be back in that gangster time period. Dude, the music, the cars, the character, the lifestyle, and just how he got thrown into being into that gangster life was just awesome, and I am pumped to be back in. And it's the whole trilogy now. So it takes off from 1, you get into 2, and then you end up over in 3. Man, it's quite an adventure, and that's a long time. So holidays are here. You got some gaming time on your hands? Mafia trilogy is definitely one you should check out.
Oh man, like that's a very valued package right there. Just so many hours worth of content all within one game. So that's sweet. My second pick, this is going to be kind of an odd one. I've actually been talking about this on our news for the last like month or so, but Fallout 76, guys. I know.
I can't believe you saying this.
Game, we reviewed it way back,
Yeah,
and
we
it
did.
was, as everybody knows, it had a rough start. And honestly, it took a long time to kind of get its legs where they are. And, you know, man, I played about a month and a half ago. I started, and I'm rank 100, man. I got so addicted to this game. And, you know, for me, I'm a huge Elder Scrolls Fallout RPG fan, where you dive into these worlds and you just lose yourself for lots of time. So, you know, now that Fallout 76 is where it's at, man, and their most recent update that just launched in December, bringing the Brotherhood of Steel, it feels so much like a true Fallout experience. Something that we've all, you know, us personal fans have been lacking for quite some time. So, I don't know, that's definitely one of my recommendations as well.
All right. Well, you know what, Nate? It's funny the way you're kind of describing your games is right. I'm following you in the same idea. It's a game I'm currently playing right now, and it's one I'm definitely really enjoying. Is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Okay.
We had the review. I know you guys are a little bit mixed. I haven't been in the series since Brotherhood, so I've missed quite a few games here. So it's nice to kind of jump back in, and it's still, even though I know this doesn't necessarily play out like maybe Odyssey did or some of the better games in the series, I guess, compared to what some of the fans think, I really do like the direction they've taken this game. I'm really enjoying the characters, the storyline. It is a bit slow to get going, but so far I'm having a blast, and I think it's going to be one of those games where when you do have a couple weeks off, it's definitely one you can sink some time into. And you know, when you get out on the other end, I think you're going to be pretty happy with the final product. But right now, that's definitely the one. Like, I was playing it right before we started doing this, so like, I mean,
Nice.
what can I say? It's definitely going to be it's one of my top picks for playing this holiday for sure.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had mixed reactions, but well, that's the topic for another time. My last pick, though, and it is an awesome pick. If you haven't had the pleasure yet, you definitely gotta swing through the streets as Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is one of the best games this year that I've had the pleasure of playing. It is fantastic. The opening sequence with Spider-Man, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Like, holy wow.
Oh, yeah.
What a game. Like, it was, I played the minute I started, I couldn't put it down. I finished it. I absolutely 100%ed that game. There's nothing left on the map to do. And it wasn't a chore either. You know, sometimes it's a grind to get through some of this stuff. I just wanted to play more Spider-Man. Now when I'm done, I'm just waiting on DLC. So the sooner that comes out, Insomniac Games, that'd be nice. But in the meantime, if you haven't had the pleasure of playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, it's a must get. Whether it's on the PS4 or the PS5, you can't miss this one.
Oh man, I absolutely loved that game, man. We did our review and we both gave it a 10 out of 10 spoiler. But oh man, I can definitely recommend that one as well. But my final choice is a game that Drew and I actually just did a review in progress on, and that I'm currently still loving, and that's Immortal Phoenix Rising. This game, man, everything about it is just striking all the right notes, man. The story, the way it's portrayed, it's some people I definitely know will not, relate to it as well. But I love the sense of humor that they went for.
It's awesome.
And that the whole thing with this game is they knew exactly what they wanted to be. There was, this just beautiful open world Zelda-like experience. Not, it's not exactly like Breath of the Wild. I can't say that, but it's got that feel, and you could tell that they were inspired by it. And honestly, by the creators of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I have to recommend this one for the holidays. I love this game.
Dude, it's a mix of both, right? It was a mix of Breath of the Wild meets Assassin's Creed. And if you're a fan of either one of those, you're not gonna want to miss out. This is a really cool game for sure. Corey,
Yeah,
what's your
I was
last
gonna
pick, buddy?
say,
What you got?
That game has been taking all the buzz as of lately. Like, I'm excited to get kind of when I get some free time, and the holidays is probably my shot here to jump in and check this one out, because you guys are making me jealous that I'm not playing this game yet. But to get to my last choice, and it's one that I've been playing off and on, and this is what I like about this game, the fact that I don't have to necessarily commit a ton of time to it, but when I do, I can sit down and play it for hours. And that game's Torchlight 3. And it's a fun hack and slash top-down dungeon crawler with a couple new kind of character classes this year compared to last year's game. So it's a lot of fun to jump into. You don't have to necessarily have played any of the games in this series to kind of understand what's going on here and how much fun it is. And the fact that you can jump in with your buddies and just kind of go wild in this one makes it kind of just the perfect storm for kind of jumping in during this holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a great game, Corey. And a tip from Corey and I, just jump into the multiplayer. Don't even try the single player.
Don't start single player, just multiplayer only.
Just go multiplayer so you can play with your friends. Yeah, you're welcome on that one. You'll thank us later. Those are our top 3 picks. Let us know at InsideTheGame.ca. What are you playing over the holidays? Holy crap, Corey. It's a calamity.
Is also the history of Calamity Ganon, a primal evil that has endured over the ages.
I think you are now ready. Ready to hear what happened 100 years ago.
Corey, Zelda is back, and we're checking out Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. And this is the first in the series for me to jump into, and I think you're right there with me as well.
Yeah.
And this is, honestly, it's a brawler, dude. Like, what do you think of the game?
Yeah, this is definitely kind of a button mash, like a strategic, I'm gonna say strategic button mash, hack and slash, kind of Dynasty Warriors-esque type game here.
Exactly.
And it, the story takes place 100 years before the storyline of Breath of the Wild. So there's kind of this whole kind of Zelda lore here that we've never really been exposed to before, and you kind of focus on learning a lot more about Zelda and who she is as a character kind of before all the events. And there's some tie-ins, so if you've played Breath of the Wild, there's going to be some references here that you're going to be able to kind of pick up on and understand.
Yeah.
But for us, kind of getting back to this one, it's all about the gameplay here. Like, the story is definitely there. It's not super deep, but it is interesting. It kind of keeps your attention enough. But let's get real here. Yeah, it's all about the battling here. So you kind of start off as Link, the silent hero. There's no voiceover here by him. There's voiceovers by everybody else, which I'm going to sidebar real quick, was done really, really well. I thought the voiceovers were done really well. I like the characters. It kind of brought life to everybody. But again, Link, nothing other than, the grunts and groans that you get when he's fighting. So, man, it's, another miss here on that one, I think. But overall, I did have a great time playing this game, and I think just I can't get the battles out of my head here, man. They're just so much fun. What did you think?
Yeah, I've had a blast. As this being a first for me in the series to jump into, I thought this was awesome. Again, getting back to the fact that Link still says nothing really irritates me, man. I'm so tired of the silent protagonist. when everybody else is talking. Like, everybody else is voiceover and really well. So the fact that Link doesn't have any video at all is just kind of, man, it would have just brought the game up to that next level to just have some kind of connection in that sense, right? So you lose that a little bit, and that's hard to kind of move forward in the game. But when we talk about the story, Corey, it is light. It's very, very light. Yeah. It's just calamity is about to happen, right? So you're out there to save the world once again, per se, as you know, all these Ganon's monsters and creatures are coming down to take over the world. So you're out there, but the way the map is set up, I thought was unique as well. The fact that when you go to your map, you select missions, but then you're also able to bounce around to like the blacksmith, and you can help them out, and you can donate resources that you've gathered in these battles to them and help them out, and you get rewarded, and then you're able to upgrade your swords, and then you're able to upgrade other characters' abilities and things like that. And I thought that was a real highlight to the game. That it's not an open world experience like we are used to with Breath of the Wild. It is very linear based in that sense, with a couple different paths on the map that you kind of jump into at the time. But I thought it was really good. And then the battle system is so fluid. So I played in handheld a lot. I put it up on the big screen, and Corey, man, that looks bad. It really does not. It does not look pretty at all. You know, you put Breath of the Wild up there, dude, that looks gorgeous, right? It looks beautiful on the big screen. It does not here, unfortunately, which is too bad. Because I wanted to see Zelda, and I want to see Link and all the other characters on the big screen. When you're playing in handheld mode, it is nice. It looks great, but you want to see some of that extra detail on a bigger screen, and you're just not able to get that here. And it looks really blurry or muddy, and it just doesn't look as nice. So that was too bad to see that kind of come around. But the abilities that you get as Link and Zelda and your other characters, I thought were really cool. And I honestly do, I think a lot about the battle system. But you also feel now that the Switch is starting to get a little old in the life cycle, because when you have so many of Ganon's creatures out there, that thing starts to chug, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely frame rate issues here when you get into some of these larger battles. And like we're talking, we're fighting hundreds of people at a time here, because this game is all about the masses. And like you said, when they start filling up the screen, you really start to notice that every once in a while there's going to be some kind of laggy, kind of glitchy holdups here. And it doesn't really detract from the game at all. You just kind of notice that it's there. And that's kind of it's a bit of a bummer. But like you said, the Switch has been kind of chugging on some of these recent games lately. And I think it's just because it's kind of getting a little old, right? I mean, we got all these new kids on the block now with the next gen console, so you know Nintendo's going to be coming down the road with something soon. But for now, games like this definitely take a toll on the console, and playing handheld is probably the best way to go with this one, because again, like you said, on the big screen, this one struggles, especially when you get into some of these frame rate issues. But to get back to the combat, I really did enjoy it. I like the way that we have the system set up here. You can pull the triggers and the bumpers mid-combat to pull up extra menus with abilities that you get to use. And a lot of times for the boss battles, you need to use these abilities kind of in a well-timed manner to be able to break down the defenses of the bosses, to kind of get that extra edge in the combat, so you can, defeat them and move on through this adventure. Because it's not always necessarily just about smashing those buttons. You have these combos available to you, and every character has some of the same abilities, but they kind of go about them in a different manner. Link's bombs, he throws 4 in a row, and they're kind of all targeted, but everybody else maybe only just drops the bomb in a certain kind of way or in a random direction kind of thing. So everybody's got their kind of special abilities that are a little bit better than somebody else. So it's kind of nice to be able to tailor your playstyle depending on what character you play with. And I like the ability, like you said, on the map to be able to send those characters to go fight battles in certain areas, because there's a ton of NPCs on this map. So it's nice to kind of have someone there to give you a hand. And I know you definitely had someone giving you a hand when you were playing. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. We're actually able to play in couch co-op, dude. I had a blast. So me and my son were on, and we were checking out the game, and he was going in one way. So it was split screen, top and bottom. So we weren't losing any of the real estate kind of on screen that we were normally used to. I thought it was really good. He was able to venture off in one direction. Sometimes you're tethered when you're playing couch co-op. I didn't have that here. So he was able to kind of venture off, and I was able to go on my direction. I thought that was a blast. So the fact that we have so much fun playing the game, and then where I was able to bring my own kids in at the same time, dude, that's such a plus for me. And it was a big bonus to see that. Now, I did have one particular problem. It was mostly on Link, actually. when you bring out your bow and arrow, dude, every time I hit that L2 to aim, I was like up and down. I was like flying all over the place. So
Yeah.
that was in handheld, and I find often when you're doing the handheld with the Joy-Cons on the Switch, it can be a little convoluted when you're trying to get your arrows or your reticule in the right position, right? So I thought that was a little irritating. Moving over to the Pro Controller, I really didn't find it to be that much better. So that was just one of those misses. But getting back to the overall game and the fact that it's co-op, man, it was a fun time to play this. I really did enjoy the game.
Yeah, man, nice.
Corey, we blasted through Calamity. What do you score in this one?
Well, I'm gonna hack and slash my way into a good one here because I had a ton of fun playing this game.
Yeah.
The voiceovers were great. I thought the story was there. It wasn't the best. Some of the controls were a bit of a hang-up, but overall, the experience was a ton of fun. So you know what, man? I gotta give this one a 7.5.
You know what? I was thinking a little bit higher, but no, going back to the points that we made, I think you're right on point. The fact that the story is a little light. There are some combat issues as well, but again, light issues, right? But when you go out and you blast through all Ganon's creatures and then you're playing couch co-op, and there's just so much to do. It is not a short game by any stretch of the means. And when you finish it, there's still more resources you can go out and get and another side quest to do. So it's definitely worth everybody's time. I had a blast. If they could just polish it a little bit more, or maybe bring a Switch 2, that would be even better. But it puts me right now at a 7.5.
Great gameplay with a well thought out control scheme. The story is there if you're interested, but it doesn't really dive too deep. But the big plus here is couch co-op.
All right, Nate, we're about to be among the gods.
Oh, baby.
As the world crumbles, our divine powers sealed away. Even the gods need a hero.
Nate, you and I are going to do an early review and progress of Immortal's Phoenix Rising, the latest title by Ubisoft Quebec. We received our codes very late and just due to some technical difficulties. However, we have been able to jump in a little bit, but not as far as we want to give our overall final review. Being in around the 7-hour mark honestly feels like the beginning of the game. What about you?
Yeah, man, we're really just scratching the surface of this game because it takes about a few hours just to get the prologue completed.
Yep.
When the map really kind of just opens up to you kind of doing whatever you want. And man, this game, I am just blown away with happiness by it because we're kind of long overdue for this Zelda, dare I say, Breath of the Wild kind of feel on the Xbox and PlayStation system. So what did you think, man, hopping into this?
Dude, I'm having a blast. Absolutely. I was able to get early access beforehand too and do a preview of the game. So I wanted to see what changed now too with the final product being here for us. And jumping in, really not much has changed, which was nice, but they did adjust the arrow. You were able, when you use the guided arrow, you were able to, in the preview build, actually speed it up or slow it down. Now that's completely gone. They were also able to go in and adjust some of your controls. My control scheme right now isn't perfect. The way you run, you actually have to hold down the X button. I wanted to change that over to the left analog stick and click it and run, but every time you change that, it actually changes a couple different inputs. So I'm not able to completely adjust it the way I want to. So getting past that, honestly, that's probably about my only nitpick of the game. The rest of it is just, it is charming, whimsical. They are very self-aware of what the game is in the context of Zeus and Prometheus talking to each other and breaking down that fourth wall barrier with Phoenix being the main character. Whether you want to go male or female is completely up to you, and how you customize your character is a big portion of the game as well. I like the small to light RPG element of the game. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like a huge Baldur's Gate where you gotta really be stuck in and dug deep into figuring out the management sources and all this kind of backlog of information you're gonna need. It allows you to get in there, play the game, have a good time. And yeah, that Zelda-esque feel, art style too, Nate. Dude, I'm so in. This game is a blast to play.
Yeah, man, because you're just set out, and like I said, you can kind of go out and do the main quest, or you can go out and complete these vaults, where there are tons of these vaults, whether they're puzzle-solving vaults or kind of horde-based, wave-based vaults. And it's pretty cool. Like, some of the puzzles, they really actually got me thinking, man. A couple of them, but most of them are pretty simple, so the pacing isn't too frustrating, you know, in this such a big of a game.
Yeah, no, the game is absolutely massive. That's why I said we're only in and around the 7-hour mark. So for us to give a final score, we're just not ready to do that yet.
No.
So that's why we're here early. But to get in the overall pitch of the story is the fact that Typhon has come over and basically crushed all the gods, and you, being an immortal, are out to help save the gods. Seems like an oddball story, but it's hilariously told through Prometheus and Zeus, and the way everything unfolds, and then you meet the gods eventually, and how you kind of rescue or go about your missions, you know, is really, really cool. I thought Ubisoft Quebec have done a great job bringing in a sense of Zelda / Assassin's Creed. You know, one of the originals for the Assassin's Creed is, speaking of, that's how they brought us in. It was through the Assassin's Creed feel too, because they brought back that look around where you're able to pan in and you scope out the area to pick out so many things to do, whether or not you're looking for these crystals, or you're looking for your objective, or a chest, or more gear, and it just keeps or like there's a ton of stuff to do.
Yeah, the world just feels very filled out, man. And that's another thing too, the combat, man. Let's kind of dive into that, because while you're exploring the open world, there's all sorts of cool creatures that you run into, and they all, you know, play fairly differently. There's actually open world bosses as well. I ran into two that kind of actually played very similarly, but ultimately still we're different and challenging. I'm playing on hard as well, because this game has difficulty settings.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
The enemy types are set in this Greek mythology lore, right? So you're getting your Medusa-like creatures, or the Minotaurs and things like that. Cyclops is there, and one of the coolest parts about the combat, Nate, is it's not too complex, right? I felt very rewarded in the middle of combat, and the other, probably one of the highlights, is if you can time it right and be in the right spot at the right time, you dodge out of the way. Yeah, you can parry, but it also, the person coming at you, the character or creature, will then actually hit the other enemy types on the battlefield at the same time, which will hurt them, right? So it was really cool. I had a blast playing this, man. It was really fun.
Oh, it's honestly, so far, 8 hours in, a wicked experience.
Nate, like we said from the top, this is a review in progress, and at the 7-hour mark, we are absolutely having a blast. The comedy relief between Zeus and Prometheus, who then talk about Phoenix, and they say, "Well, this story went this way," and they're, "No, it didn't. It went this way." You know, it kind of goes. It's hilarious. The art style is fantastic. The open world is just massive. There's so much content within the game. And dude, the battling mechanics behind it too are just simple enough to get you in, but yet feeling rewarded. And I'm gotta be there right now early when we get back to it with our final scores, but for now, I'm there with an 8.
Wow, man, I'm actually a little bit higher than you, and to be honest, dude, you nailed everything right on the head. I love this world that they've crafted, the lore I'm super eager to explore, the quirkiness of the story, the pacing, everything is spot on. Right now, 8 hours in, I'm at a 9, dude.
Wow, nice. Immortal's Phoenix Rising is a beautiful world that breaks the fourth wall by knowing exactly what the game is. Not too serious, with hilariously written dialogue. Just needed a few more minor control tweaks. Corey, you and I are jumping into a Zelda Light title. Corey, you and I jumped into our Switch this week as we got to check out Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm. To us, this came awfully pretty quick as a Zelda Light title. You can tell that Corn Fox and Bros are a big fan of Zelda and wanted to make their own version, I guess, of a Zelda-esque spin-off of a game. What did you think of Oceanhorn 2?
Well, yeah, so I kind of did a little bit of reading up before we started playing the game, and I kind of got the vibe that Zelda and, you know, Breath of the Wild, this is definitely kind of a play on that game. It's based heavily off, you know, the same type of gameplay. Yeah. It has kind of the same look. By the way, the art style in this game, I think, looks great, whether you're playing on the big screen or in handheld. Sure. I thought they did a really good job here. But again, like you said, this is very Zelda-like. There's a lot of, you know, we're breaking pots like crazy in this one too, right? We're looking for gems and loot and all that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, it's very nostalgic. It makes me feel like, you know, I'm playing Ocarina of Time. Like I'm playing a classic Zelda-style game. For sure. You know, the story here isn't crazy deep. You know, it's kind of that basic. We've got a bad guy building an army, trying to take over the world. Our job is to basically destroy him and save the world. Yep. And we have some friends along the way here, which I kind of thought was an interesting touch when you're playing through the campaign of this game. For sure. And we get these characters like Jen, and, you know, they help us solve these puzzles that we had come across, you know, during our adventures. And sometimes it's very simple, you know, stand on this switch while I stand on this switch, and, you know, stuff like that. But I found them outside of where you need them in the puzzles to not be very handy. Like, this is kind of where my first interaction where I kind of had a little bit of like, what's going on here during this game? Because early on you start to learn about these puzzles and you kind of have to implement these characters to help you. And I kind of noticed that they weren't as responsive as I wanted to. What did you think?
Yeah, I kind of had a mixed reaction, to be honest. You know, parts of me loved playing the game. I thought it was relaxing, it was chill, but the story wasn't there enough to kind of keep me captivated to push me forward to the game, right? So when you don't have such a strong story, and it seemed to be as a relatively story-focused adventure, it's hard to keep that going, that momentum. And then you introduce, like you said, other side characters that join your party. And I thought it was really cool that you could control them. You tell them, okay, I need your help, so you got to go over here. But yeah, besides those puzzles, what else did they really do? A little bit of combat here or there, but it wasn't that satisfying. I thought the combat overall for yourself was good. The fact, though, that Corey, there's just no jump button, dude, was a real.
I know,
that's
it
a
was
real
killer
struggle, right? There's an automatic jump, so you'll go to one ledge and it'll jump for you, and you're just like, but I want to hit that jump button, right?
Yeah.
There's a tactile feel to that when you're playing on a controller. Now, this was over on the Apple Arcade, and I did play it there as well, and I thought that was a great fit over on that platform. And I can see maybe why they didn't have the jump button implemented over on that one, but when you brought it to the Switch, it would have been a nice feature to add in. But going ahead with the story, everybody is voiced over but your character. Like, so, again, that is just, it's one of those, that Zelda-esque thing to me, and it was just, oh man, bring some life to the character instead of just having them sit there and go.
They're just naughty. Hero,
right? The voiceovers I thought were done well, but again, the lack of our own character having that voice and interaction was just a little lackluster for me. And overall, like, I thought the game was good. It's a solid, that Zelda light experience if you're looking for that on the Switch, and I played it all in handheld. I thought it was really well done on the handheld version of the game. I liked it just being able to kind of chill out on the couch. Somebody else is on the big screen and I have it in handheld. I think that's one of the highlights when it comes to the Switch itself, is the ability to do that. And then you're allowed to just go wherever you please with that game. And I think it's a good version. I think it's a solid game. And I did have a fun time, but man, I really miss the fact that our character just doesn't speak at all.
Oh, I know. And you know what? I'm just going to say the one big hang up for me was the control scheme here. Outside of the no jump button, it was a little bit tough to get used to, but once you kind of sorted it, it's not so bad. But yeah, it's definitely kind of an omission we wish we had in this game. But for me, it was the targeting. So when you have a shield, you can kind of auto target a character, but you can only do it when you have the shield out. As soon as you pull your sword out, it gets rid of the auto lock. And now I found myself like running around, looking around with the camera. Flailing every once in a while, because it's kind of this weird control scheme. And I don't know if, because to me, like you said, they played well on the Apple Arcade. I'm wondering if this is more a mobile based game than, bringing it to something where you've got, physical sticks and buttons you can press. Maybe it just flows a little better on Apple Arcade than it did on the Switch. So the controls to me were, they were simple, but they just weren't the best here. And that kind of really hindered my experience with this one.
Oh, that's fair. Corey, I think that just wraps everything up for us for Oceanhorn 2, Knights of the Lost Realm. What do you score in this one?
Well, I mean, I know we were kind of ragging on a little bit here, but you know what? This game kind of is a Zelda emulator a little bit, and they do a good job. It's definitely a lot of fun. The story is there. The characters are voiced over really well, other than the main character, which is kind of a bummer. But you know what? This game definitely is fun. It's only $30, so it is a really good kind of cheap alternative to the still full-priced $80 Breath of the Wild. So you know what? For me, this game kind of just makes it past halfway. I'm going to give it a 5.5.
I'm a little bit higher than you, not by much though. I think the game justifies what it does and what it is. And for me, with that, I'm there with the 6.
Nice. Oceanhorn 2 is a great attempt at a Zelda-style adventure with lots of great gameplay elements, but the weak story and subpar controls make this one hard to stick with.
It's undeniable. It's one of the best party games out there. I'm talking about Overcooked 2. The guys and I were checking it out this week over on our Twitch channel, and well, here's some of the highlights. Check it out.
It's coming back to it.
Dude, there's a ton of puzzles in that game. Like, it is littered.
All puzzles.
It is littered with puzzles.
But I like it. It's cool.
Well, it's not like it's challenging, but it's not like you're not pressured when you're in on a puzzle, right? So I like that part of it.
Yeah. Ooh, the galaxy.
Ooh.
I don't remember this one.
Yeah,
I don't remember
the
it either.
floor disappears.
The floor disappears, yeah. The ingredients switch from side to side.
Wasn't this hour 1 of the stream? The 24-hour stream?
Probably.
I think it was.
Okay, what do we beef?
We need noodles.
I'm on the second order, Drew.
Right.
You're on the second order?
I fell in.
Where
are you, Adam? You're down low.
Over here.
I just let him
happening right now.
Yo, I'm over here.
We're both up top, though.
Give me that.
That doesn't work. This doesn't work like this. How does that work?
Oh, over here, dude.
What? Over where?
I'm up top right. I'm on top right.
Where are you talking about?
Oh, man. I thought Drew is the...
No.
It's because he's blue. That's what threw me off, guys. I'm so sorry. He's a blue gift.
Yeah.
I kind of want to restart, man. Like, I was so confused.
To be fair, we didn't do anything.
All right, you got a mushroom?
Is brutal.
I need a mushroom.
Drew, you need to be a different person.
Oh, you need to be a different person? Here, can you deliver this?
No.
Please, thank you.
We got a meal out somehow.
It's just that we got this. Let's go. Oh, you got me. Oh, man, I need another frying pan.
Yeah.
So mushroom, up next.
There.
All the things cut that you need.
That's not what I wanted.
Oh, sorry. Oh, man. Yeah, you can put it down there if you want.
There. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot. I need some beef.
Mushroom there.
I grabbed the beef one. Crap, I should
That's
go
okay.
mushroom. Might lose that.
We got lots of beef here. 2 beef here and a mushroom.
There. Need another frying pan.
We won't lose the mushroom.
Not gonna
Just do the
happen.
next
Unless you
one
can steal theirs, but that's not gonna happen.
That'd be awesome. You can steal theirs. He's gonna burn it.
Cook
come
some
on.
nudes. Cook some more nudes. We're gonna need them.
Need another plate. You got another plate?
Where are the plates? You have them.
Order up.
How do I have them all? Oh, I do have them.
Where are the plates? Okay, yeah.
Right there. Hang on.
Just need some noodles on it.
Right there. Get that
Tomato,
going.
you got the tomato there, you got a mushroom here.
Yep. You got the tomato already sitting there. There's another plate. We don't have to worry about cleaning plates. That's kind of
Nice throw.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's way
I
better.
didn't need to
nice.
actually throw that.
Yeah, I need noodles. Oh, I mixed it. I hit the wrong one.
With my ears.
Nice toss. There. That going. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Hurry
Yo,
up.
pass me that plate.
Here, take that.
And the other plate. There
That.
we go.
Noodles.
Mushrooms are cooking.
Oh, I need a plate. Thank you. There. Noodles. Need some more noodles. You got more noodles?
Yeah,
Alright.
I do. Just need,
Oh.
oh, it didn't go in. Didn't go in.
Oh no. Mushrooms. Need mushrooms.
Oh, get ready for this one, Corey.
Yeah. Oh,
Come on, man, we're
I
close.
don't know if we're gonna do it, man.
We're close.
I don't think we're gonna get it.
Oh, I didn't go.
Oh, nice
Oh,
try.
we got the win. Nice.
Oh,
This is
man, I can't-
Oh.
Good job, guys. I can't believe I got this so screwed up at the beginning there.
Nate's
I
on
didn't
the
know
other
what you,
side.
at first I didn't know what you were doing, so I wasn't doing anything because I was like, "What?" I was watching you. I was like, "What's he doing?"
Yeah, I was confused too.
I mean, you know, his
questioned
big
who I
blue
was
head.
twice there while you were sorting yourself out. I was like, "Who am I?" And I'm looking at the right person.
That'll wrap up this week's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It was a bit of a calamity. And to top things off, we dove into Overcooked 2. Yeah, more chaos. Now you can always be a part of the show, just like Gaming Grandma did. She hit us up over on our Discord channel, where there she submitted her clip of Dark Souls 3. Yeah, that's a tough one. Until next week, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you inside the game.